Well, hello, my lunatic friend. It's the Crypto Lunatic from the Luna Cafe, the channel for crypto newbies, and looking for moonshots to join me here on the moon. So today I have been looking on Revolut, and as some of you will realize that I think that coins that get newly listed on Revolut, they seem to go under the radar. And I found a few new coins that have been listed today, and I bring you a complete degen coin that's just been listed on Revolut. I'm not sure when, but it was sometime soon. Now, this is a degen play because it's under a 10 million market cap. So this is a super high risk one. But the fact is that it's been listed on Revolut. So that makes it interesting to me because what it means is that people that are new to the space have access, easy access to buy certain coins. And I think that Revolut is under the radar. Look, if you get listed on Coinbase or Binance, your price skyrockets. But for some reason, you get listed on Revolut, it goes under the radar, my friend. So this is about a tiny little low cap altcoin that I found that's been listed on Revolut that may or may not be a good degen play. Now, this is a completely neutral review. I'm not paid by the company to make this, and I do not own Blocklords. So, with that in mind, and it's definitely not financial advice, join me on a little journey of a degen coin. So, like a lot of coins in the gaming verse, they have to build the game. So, this type of chart is very, very common in gaming. So, you see here that this thing was launched in July 2024 at $1.76. And you can see what's happened since then. It's gone down and down and down and down and down because it has to build the game and no one's really interested. So, as you know, with this channel, I like to talk about coins before they pump. And this is a classic place of where I like to talk about them. So when we look down at this, let's have a little look. We see it's a tiny little degen coin. It's under 10 million market cap. Even fully diluted value is only 14 million, which still makes it relatively degen. There's only 41% of the supply that are out circulating. That's not so great. But it's early days and early doors. We actually see this is on Coinbase. Now, that's significant for a tiny little degen coin. This is significant, my lunatic friends, because when retail eventually enters the scene, then Coinbase is going to be a big place. So for this market cap and this exchange listing, this is interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, Blocklords is a game, and we'll go into a bit more detail on that later. And there's not much more to be seen there. So the first thing we do is check the contract. And what we do here when we go to holders here, this is an aspect I don't like to see. A very high concentration in the top 10 wallets, a very high concentration. Now, this is danger of dumpage. It means that there's a very few people sitting on a lot of tokens, which means potentially price suppression. But having said that, even though that's a risky thing, look at where the price is now. The odds of anyone dumping their coins at this price is very, very low. And just to emphasize that, we go to CryptoRank and we see when did the people get in early that got in early get in at. Now we don't know what these people paid the seed round, but what we do know is that for the IEO in July 2024, that these people paid 60 cents and are sitting on a minus 76% return. Minus 76% return. This is significant. So the early or fairly early IEO investors are sitting on a massive loss. So that would have to go up to 70 cents before they're even in profit. And this is a good sign. That is the good side of it. Next thing, we go into X. When we see for a tiny little game, that's a huge amount of followers. Huge amount of followers. And what we're seeing is reasonably active social media page and reasonably up-to-date updates. So we're seeing an active social media page. Now, that is active enough for it to be active and not active enough for me to think that there's bots involved. So this is potentially a very good thing. Very good thing, very active page. So we go to their website and we see, look, it's forged in the Blocklords universe. And if this is to be believed, if there are 142 unique active wallets, that's significant. That is significant for a tiny little low cap game. Now, that tells me that people are using it. So that is a step in the right direction. Now, that page, here we are. Now, I've gone on here because this tells us that the overview is a 4.3 on what people think of this game, that they're the sort of ratings that it's getting in, which is decent. We go to DApp Radar, and I've typed in Blocklords here so that we can actually verify, or we can at least attempt to verify what's going on here. Now, what we see here is, look, little price spike, a little bit of price action has been happening here. So it's not telling us much. It's not verifying the amount of unique active wallets or anything like that. It is just telling us a bit of cursory information. So that doesn't really tell us very much more than we already know. Now, I looked on YouTube to see who's talking about Blocklords. Now, there's a review from Altcoin Daily, but this is a paid review, but you can get to meet some of the team behind it. So we don't read too much into what are reviews that are paid by the game to make the review, but you can find out from the founders what the game is a little bit about. And there's a few things that talk about the game and how, and if you want to understand the gameplay, there's other things here that you can check out and see. From what I gather from going through a few of these videos, is some people are saying it's a little bit repetitive or it's too expensive to enter. But there's some interesting videos there if you really want to look into it. Now, I did the search here just to go down, and we have like blockchain game reviews here. And, some of them are good and some of them very mixed reviews, but they're the good side of average on all of them. So we've got a 7 out of 10. They've rated it. Trustpilot. Now, this is always interesting. I see that the crypto version of this has happened before, but there's obviously a Web2 aspect of this game. Now, when you go on to Trustpilot, I think it's always significant to see the spread of reviews. And there's still a few 1-star reviews that say that the 5-star ones are scams. The Reddit one, again, these are old posts. So I think that this game has been released on Web 2 and they're talking about it. So will it cut it in Web 3? Well, we don't really know. We don't really know. There's a few game reviews that we looked through, as I said, on there. But the bottom line is, this is not a very deep dive research. It really isn't, because I'm not invested in this. But it's a tiny little low cap degen coin, and it does appear to have bottomed out. Now, there's a high concentration of tokens in the top 10 wallets. That's a terrible thing in crypto. That means it's wide open for price dumpage. But given that this is on Coinbase, it's just been launched on Revolut as well. It means that retail will be able to get access to it. And it's a tiny little low cap coin. All of these add up to the risk reward at the moment looks very interesting for this project. Am I going to be investing in it? Probably not, my lunatic friends, because I think that there's better options out there. Or if I am, I'm going to put a very tiny amount of money in, just a very tiny speculative amount, because this is the high risk degen zone that we find ourselves in here. But it could be, you never know. It only takes one whale to think, wow, this is a tiny little low cap coin on multiple exchanges. We'll throw some money at it and the price could spike. There could be a lot of interesting trading action around this coin potentially. So there you go, my lunatic friends. I bring you Blocklords, a Web3 game that could be interesting and could certainly have some interesting price action now that it's listed on Coinbase and Revolut. And if you've enjoyed this little review and you like simple reviews and being brought coins before they pump, then do like and subscribe to the channel, my friend. And if you'd like another one of my reviews, you'll find that there. But either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.